Hey, comic creators, artists, writers, world builders, this is your call to action. Here at Talking Comics, we love diving into the stories behind the stories. Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the game for years, we want to hear your journey, your creative process, and what fuels your imagination. So, ready to talk comics with us? Message us or hit the link in our bio and be a guest on Talking Comics.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Talking Comics. We've got Nick Edwards with us. He is a writer and a creator. But before we jump into the comic book, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me, AJ. Yeah, I'm Nick. I live in New York City, so if you hear sirens, that's why. And I've been making comics for a few years now. This new book that is currently live on Kickstarter is called The Apostasy. It's my third book. Really excited about it, and yeah, excited to be here.
Awesome. So what got you into writing comic books?
Man, I love comics since I was a little kid.
Okay.
My parents would take me and my sister to Half Price Books, and they would have these like bundles of like random back issues, like 20 random issues of whatever for like $4. And I'd always like get one and then like take them home and just like flip through them. And there was like so much good stuff in there. Like I was getting old issues of like Uncanny X-Men, Amazing Spider-Man, Action Comics, like all the like, all the like the good stuff, Yeah. And I was just, like so many other kids, just taken immediately, like the characters, the colors, the action, just, love it all. But then I read the Captain Underpants books, and that was like, those are very super fun books and everything, but they're about like two kids who like make their own comics and everything. And I remember like
Okay.
reading those and thinking like, that's so cool. I want to do that. And so like I would like write and draw my own crappy little comics. Like when I was a kid, my dad would help me like staple them together and everything like that. And I can't
Awesome.
draw to save my life, right? I kind of realized that as I got older, but I knew I just kind of always had it in me. And then COVID came around and I kind of ran out of excuses to like not actually try and make something happen. And so here we are a few years later, and it's been a fun ride.
Awesome. So this is your third book, you said,
Yeah.
right? How'd the
hmm
first two do?
Good.
Awesome.
So far 3 for 3 for successful Kickstarter campaigns, so pretty happy about that. The first two books I did with one of my best friends. His name is Scott Beecher. He and I run our own comics label together, Unearthly Comics, and he's awesome. We met at a comic convention in North Texas, like in February of 2020, like right before the world shut down. Then we talk like every week, and we've done 2 graphic novels together. He's the man. And then this one I'm doing with an artist that I met in late 2022 named Dave Shuler. I said I've done because the book is fully done, which is really
Right.
nice, and to take some pressure off the back end. Yeah, Dave's been great. It's cool to, just make more friends, work with new people and all that. So yeah, it's been fun.
Awesome. So what does Unearthly Comics do? You just done the first two books, or what else do you want to do with that?
Sure. So Scott made the Unearthly label before we met,
Okay.
and he had done a like a crime mini series called Crime Stories City of Hate, and some other like just kind of one shot stuff. And then when we met, I had just like, written some scripts. I, hadn't, published anything. And so I met Scott. We stayed in contact after the convention we met at, and I sent him some scripts that I had written, and he read them, and he was like, hey, these are cool. And then he actually pitched me on this slasher character that he had created. It was called the Gator Man, and he's this like psycho redneck type of character who wears a gator skull on his head and slashes. And so he just pitched me on this idea of like this slasher book that he described as like Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Con Air. And
Okay.
and yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, that's money. That's awesome. And that became our first book, Gator Man Kills.
So he
And
had the idea of the character and kind of like just an overarching maybe theme or story
yeah,
kind of, and then
yeah,
he pitched you to write the story,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
he drew it.
Yeah, then he drew it. Yeah, he had
Very
the
cool.
character sketched out and had a super loose story outline,
Right.
and we would just like, and it started really as a pandemic project, right? We would like get on the phone every few days and talk and be like, what if we did this? Or like, ooh, what if like we did that? It was just like, and then like actually writing the script was super fun. Because he and I both are like super horror geeks, right? And
Right.
so, again, that pitch I was super excited about, and so that was great. Gator Man Kills was our first book, and then in 2022 we did a book. Actually, it was one of my ideas this time, and it was called Stilettos, and that was more of like a contemporary thriller. Um, it was just I busted out like a really just lean and mean script for it that summer as well, and Scott, made it look awesome, made it look great. So that was the second one, and then Scott, we're still working on stuff. He's currently about halfway through drawing Gator Man Returns, which is fun. Really fun script. That guy's not dead yet. Which is, I guess, spoiler for the first book, but whatever. What slasher character ever really dies, right?
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So love working with Scott, but getting to meet Dave working with him too has been really awesome. And yeah,
Yeah.
excited about this new book.
Yeah. So tell us about the new book.
Yeah. It's called The Apostasy, and it is about the quick pitch is like lone wolf and cub set in hell. And it's about a demon named Gainsbourg who works in hell as a torturer in the ninth circle of hell. So he scourges the souls of the damned, and like the wickedest souls get sent to him, and he's been doing it for eons. And the story is about what happens when Gainsbourg encounters a soul that he doesn't believe deserves to be there and be scourged. And that soul in question is the soul of a 12-year-old girl named Katie. And so the two of them form sort of a bond and go on kind of a journey looking for answers, and maybe, a way to get her out of her predicament and everything like that. And surprises ensue and all that. It was a fun story to write for sure, and it's been awesome to see it come to, life on the page, I guess.
Right. Like, how many pages is it going to be?
It's 48 pages.
48. Okay. I was wondering what is a comic and what's a graphic novel?
So the
I don't,
first two I did were a little longer. Both Gatorman Kills and Stilettos were between 80 and 90 pages.
wow.
And so, yeah, so that's why I say like graphic novels for those, because those are like, yeah, true graphic novels. And this one a little bit shorter. So I've been calling this one a comic book.
Okay.
But I think it's sort of like a rectangles and squares scenario, right? Like
Right.
all graphic novels are comic books, but not all comic books are graphic novels.
Like,
Um,
all right, we can stop right there. I mean, there's the line of the century. Like, I don't
yeah,
need to do this anymore.
yeah,
That's perfect.
yeah, yeah. So I'm calling this one a comic book. I get, if somebody really wants to call it a graphic novel, I'm not gonna fight them on it. But
Nope.
yeah,
I'm just curious, I've been inspired, doing all these interviews to write a comic book. So I wrote one and I've hired an
awesome.
artist, and that's the cover behind me.
Wait, I can't see.
Oh,
Let me
you
see.
can't see it all. Yeah. Ah, there we go.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
it's called the
yes,
Chronicles. Well, there's two covers. There's the A cover and the B cover. So
nice.
it's called the Chronicles of Panel P. He's a comic word bubble from our mascot. You can see on my hat. Um,
Okay,
that does
that's
fall.
awesome.
Um, he just kind of lives in a comic book and, saves the day. Uh,
That's
it,
awesome.
it's about half done. Well, actually, we're almost three-quarters done with the artwork, so I'm really excited. Like you, I'm waiting until I have a completed project before I launch anything. Like all the artwork and everything, it'll be
Hmm.
done, and
Hmm.
I'll already have some printed too, probably because I'm actually gonna fly. A friend of mine owns a print shop in Michigan, so I'm gonna fly to Michigan when I have everything laid out and done, and he's gonna let me hit the print button and watch it come off the printer and get
Oh,
stapled
so
and
cool.
folded and all that. So that'll be really cool.
That'll be awesome. Well, you gotta let me know if you ever do like a crowdfunding campaign for it or something. I would
Yeah,
love to
I
back that.
appreciate it. Yeah, we do. I have a pre-launch page, and I'm gonna change it up probably a little bit, but I'm not gonna launch anything until after probably March, April, till it
Okay.
actually gets done.
We are beyond excited to share the chronicles of Panel Pete, a brand new comic coming in early 2026. Written by Talking Comics podcast host AJ Ryman and co-written and illustrated by Mike L. Jure, Torque Arts Comics. Panel Pete is a heartfelt comic about courage, imagination, and the hero within. Sure, he may stir up a little mischief, but at the end of the day, he's the hero we all need. Expect variant covers, exclusive merch, and much more. Follow the links in our bio, hit that notify me on launch on Kickstarter, and join us on this adventure.
Yeah.
But no, I'm intrigued. Now that I got the pitch from you on the story, I'm like, okay, this sounds really cool. I might have to
Yeah.
pick
Thanks,
this up.
man. Yeah.
Because I was curious, like the price is really reasonable. Your Kickstarter prices, I
Yeah.
feel.
I mean, well, yeah. No, thanks. And I mean, times are tough out there, and
For
like
sure.
anybody who wants to. I mean, it's already, I think, like asking a lot for people to just like take a chance on any indie comic,
Right.
right?
Right.
I like that's big. And so anybody who's willing to do that, I want to, make it as accessible for them as possible. And like a joke that I like to tell too is I really got into making independent comics for the money. And so,
Yeah, I hear that one a lot.
yeah,
That
I'm just
joke.
making so much money with
Right?
these
I
comics,
mean,
man.
yeah,
Oh
I mean,
my
you're living in
god.
New York City. You're, going out
Yeah.
to dinner every night, these high-priced restaurants,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
right.
using my comic money
Yeah,
on
it's all the
the
comic
rent.
money,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's it. That's a funny joke.
Yeah,
No,
what's the day job? No, you don't have
yeah,
to say
no,
that.
that's yeah. And kind of, I this is like anecdotal, but like, and I saw, and it's not anywhere official or anything like that, but like, I saw some Reddit post or something like that that was basically just talking about that. And somebody was like, I think there are probably less than 50 people in the world who are making like a living off of comics. And that includes like, your Scott Snyders, your James Tynans, like your big
Right.
names, and so like, it's just, that's everybody I talk to, like both artists that I've worked with, other writers and artists that like I've known and talked to. Like everybody's got a big boy or a big girl or big person job, and
Right.
so this is all just
Yeah, I
it.
definitely have a day job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too. Yeah,
So it is what it is. This is a fun, I got into this because of my day job. Funny enough, my day job wanted to start a podcast, and there
cool.
was it's such corporate, level of approvals and all this, and um, I was like, I can't learn how to do this in this environment, right? And just I've told the story 100 times on here, so my frequent listeners are gonna probably turn off now. But um,
Yeah, well, I haven't heard it, so
yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
a year ago, my daughter got discovered comics. I've always been a nerd and into comics and games and all, board games and miniature games. Owned a hobby shop for a while, about 8
cool,
years.
cool.
But my 10-year-old, she was 9. Well, it was on our birthdays. Our birthdays are 2 days apart in December. So it's coming up on a year. We found ourselves in a comic shop because we always just go do random stuff. And it was actually a comic book store and a game store. So that's why I always go to this store,
Nice.
because I just like looking at the games. Well, she discovered comic books. She's like, what are these? And I'm like, comic books. And so she loved it. She picked a couple up. Within a week, I bought her, probably another 50 comic books because she fell in love with it, and her readings just skyrocketed. So now I'm like, okay, this is amazing.
Yeah,
But
that's
my
awesome.
day job, she came in here and she's like, oh, I want to be on your podcast. Like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Like, I can barely be on that thing, and I run the thing.
Yeah.
And but I also need to learn. So I was toying with starting another one anyway. And I was like, well, let's start one. You and I can just do something fun, and I can learn. And yeah, so we It's like, here it is, talking comics. Our first one, I put a card table in here and like a webcam and I don't even think we had a microphone at the time, and literally we just started, and we've done over 60 episodes between the interviews and the ones with her and I this year. So
That's so cool.
and
That is really cool.
I'm able to like put out reels, and the response has been amazing because Jeff Haas, who linked us together, he found, I got a random email from him one day. I'd never met him, heard who, I don't know who he was. He's like, would you be interested in interviewing somebody? I had like 8 episodes out. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. I've never done it, but I'll try it. And it was Chris Saloff from Homebrew Comics. I don't know if you know them guys.
I think I've
You've probably
heard of
seen him.
Homebrew. Yeah.
Yeah, Homebrew. And he was releasing Crit at the time. And I was like, all right. So, I was so nervous. I like studied. I was watching interviews online. Like I was studying hard because I was so nervous to do it. And I went to the first one with Chris, and he was like, man, this was really cool. And I'm like, really? I'm like, was it okay? Like, am I okay? He's like, dude, this was awesome. I'm like, okay, cool. Funny awesomeness, 2 weekends ago, or was it 2 weekends ago, I actually got to meet Chris in person. He was at a convention locally here, and I got to meet the
Sweet.
Homebrew guys in person. So that was cool. Starting to meet the people that I'm interviewing at these conventions.
Very
But that's
cool.
enough about me. Everybody knows
No,
that story,
I
right?
love it, man. I love hearing
Oh,
about it.
appreciate that, but like I said, I was inspired to write comics, and go through the process. You can't learn something without doing it, right? Like the same
Totally.
thing with this podcast and my day job podcast. I can't learn it unless I'm doing it. So this allows me to do it. I wrote a script. I got inspired with all these TikToks of, Stephanie Phillips telling me how to write a script, and I wrote it and found an artist that I had interviewed. He's like, yep. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll have my own comic book here in a couple months, which is going to be really cool.
That's so exciting, man. That's
It
great.
is. I don't know about you because you're on the same end I'm on as the writer, pretty much. The feeling you get when you see what you've written back as on paper is like, explain that for me. What does that do for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's magic. I mean, it's so cool. I like comics. I like, so like, there's some people who can write and draw, and
Mhm.
that's incredible. I can't.
Amazing. Yeah, not me.
And so yeah, and sorry for the
Oh, you're
noise.
fine.
Hell's
It-
Kitchen, man. Daredevil's fighting Bullseye out there or something. Yeah. No, but
Have you met Daredevil yet?
yeah, he's around. He's flipping on the
See?
rooftops and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's always around. I actually thought, real quick,
Yeah.
when I was a kid reading like Daredevil and stuff like that, I thought Hell's Kitchen was made up. Like I thought
Me
it was,
too.
yeah, I thought it was like, or I thought it was just like slang for like New York City or something like that. Like,
Right.
oh, Hell's Kitchen. And like then like few years back, I learned like, no, it's a real neighborhood. It's a real place, and now I live here. So
Now
it's
you live there.
yeah. Yeah, but anyway, but so yeah, some people can write and draw, do it all. That's amazing. I can't. So like I feel like most creators, comics is like a team sport, and it's like
Mhm.
super collaborative, and so I like, and I try to be kind of generous with my scripts, and I try not to get overly descriptive where I don't feel like I have to, and sort of let the artists that I work with do their thing. And so like with the Apostasy, there's a bunch of demonic characters in there and everything, and I knew Dave. I met him at an art fair outside of Pittsburgh, and he was set up as a vendor there. He had a lot of his art on display. It was like super creepy and weird and cool. And I like walked up. I was like, dude, your stuff is sick. And that's how we met. And so like I knew he was good at drawing like scary creatures and like all of that. And so like with the script, there was this one part in the book where you meet these 3 demon characters who are kind of like bad guys, and I didn't describe them at all, and I was just like, go crazy, dude, have fun. And like so like getting those pages back and seeing him just like let
Go
loose and like
wild.
yeah, and it was so cool. It was so cool. And so yeah, it's awesome getting to see that kind of stuff come to life. It's the best.
Yeah, the script thing is really cool. Like I felt like I probably wasn't descriptive enough, but at the same time, I was perfectly okay with that because I wanted him like that was my favorite part is just how are you going to interpret this, right? What I wrote. Like I might give the location and the time of day, but other than that, I don't think I gave any very, very little feedback. I think we changed one character from a boy to a girl just to have a girl in the story, right? Like it's like, all right, there's too many like boys in this. Like they're
Yeah.
need to have a female, right? So we changed one character. And then I think part of one of the cool things I'm doing is in part of my comic book is set inside a comic shop, right? So on the wall or on the comic wall are people's books that I've interviewed,
Oh,
you know?
cool.
So that's
Cool.
been a cool thing that I've been was able to add into there. And hopefully I'll do another issue, could add even more, you know?
Yeah.
That would be really cool. Um, that's allowed us to, you know, just kind of give back to the community in a platform and, you know, that kind of stuff for people. What's your writing process like? What do you like? What's your rituals or
Um, I almost always start with an outline, and figure out who like the main characters are. I feel like with comics, the first step is to figure out how long it's gonna be and like figure out your page count. And then from there, once you have an idea of the length of the story, then you can kind of place your story beats appropriately. Um, and of course, sketching out character arcs and things like that. What does this character want? What gets in the way? All that. So yeah, really, really almost always start with an outline when it comes to comics. And then I take it a step further and do kind of like a page by page breakdown. And then I script out each page. And
okay?
so it's kind of like 3 passes at the story before, I have like a first draft, right? But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. And a comparison that I heard once that I think is very accurate is that like a comic script, because I've even like written comic scripts and like given it to a friend and like check out what things I wrote, and like it just doesn't have the same impact, right? Because a comic script is like a good recipe. Like
Right,
you can look at a good recipe and bet like and think like, oh, I bet that's gonna be really good. But
right,
then, of course, like it's not the meal, right?
right,
It's not the dish. So it's like it's sort of the same thing. It's like and very like there are some people out there who would like probably chefs or just people that are big in the culinary scene who would look at a good recipe and be really fascinated by that. But
right.
99% of people just want the dish, right? They just want to eat the food.
Eat the food. Yep.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's how it is with comics too. Like you got a very small subset of people who are interested in reading a script. Everybody just wants to see the comics. And I think that like and I say this as someone who just writes and doesn't do art, that like people will sit through like a mediocre or subpar script to look at great art. But
Mm,
no one is going to sit through. Can I cuss on the show?
sure.
Okay, no one's gonna
I'll
sit
bleep
through.
it out if it's too bad.
No, just no one's gonna sit through shitty art to even like read like the best script ever. Like that's just like,
Right.
and so the art just has to be there. So I'm always writing with the artist in mind, and I try to keep that at the center when I'm writing comic scripts.
Interesting, because I didn't have that luxury. I was I didn't know who my artist was going to be. Right when I wrote it, I was just inspired to write a script, and then I kind of just put out in the universe. I'm looking for a artist, right? Kind of said it on here and on the podcast, and you know as people would message me, I'd talk to them and about it, but it wasn't until Mike Algier, he's from Dork Art Studios. Um, he's up in Connecticut. I interviewed him and then we, had a great interview. It was a lot of fun and we'd message back and forth on Instagram and he just sent me like a piece of like fan art of Panel Pete, right? And I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." So I just asked, "Would you do a cover?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll do a cover." So he did the cover. And then I'm like, "Why don't you just do the whole book?" And he ended up, I got very lucky. He said yes, and but I didn't. That's interesting that you can write with the artist in mind. That's really cool because you'd met this guy, you knew his artwork. Um, I guess, it's like I had to think when he came to me with the fan art and stuff, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then like the cover, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Right. And I've read his books because, from when I interviewed him, I try to read, whatever I can that they have. And I was like, yeah, I think this would be perfect. And he was like, really? You want my art? And I'm like, yeah, like why not? you know, like I'd take anybody really probably at the time, but like I think it's even better. And he's got fans that love it. The homebrew guys love him. So I think it's really cool.
That's great, man. Yeah, I mean, because you want the artist to be excited about it too, right?
Exactly.
Like you want, yeah, team sport, right? We all
100%.
we it's if somebody's heart's not in it, like what are we doing here? Because
Right.
again, we're not breaking the bank with record sales, right? It's
Right.
not gonna happen. So you gotta want it, and ideally like everybody has to want it too. And so I do try, and I've written, scripts that, aren't attached to any artist or anything like that, would be awesome. Like, oh, hope, we could do something with this someday. So like, yeah, I've definitely done that too. But, with the ones that I've done so far, I've been lucky enough to have like written with specific like creators in mind.
That's cool. One thing I found myself doing as I read comics is I was more picky about the paper. Like, "Oh,
For
I
sure.
definitely don't
Yeah.
want this paper in my comic," or "I really
Yeah.
like the way this paper feels." Like,
Yeah.
you become a paper nerd.
Totally. And like you wouldn't think about that,
Right.
until you're like in it, we did something cool with Gator Man Kills where because it's, a very pulpy, grindhousey type of story, like, and so that we did all like kind of like a yellowish paper and we had it rougher too. So it like and it's also in black and white. And so like it looks and feels like when you feel the page and look at it, it feels like one of those like kind of like an old pulp comic, and that was really really cool. Yeah, no, the paper selection is like very real, and then like very inside baseball. Like yeah,
Right.
if
You
you know,
don't
you
think
know.
about it,
You don't,
you
you
know?
don't. Who thinks about something like that
The only
besides weird comic people?
right? What really threw it off to me was I'm a Thor fan, if you can't tell. I got a little bit of Thor stuff
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I started collecting a lot of his I had some, but I didn't have a whole lot, so I've been picking up, like, the Mighty Thor series and trying to read them. It's like, ugh, I do not like I don't like the feel of the old newspaper type. So I've bought, like this book, I'm trying to finish this. This is like a collection,
Okay,
but it's a nicey glossy paper.
sure.
And I'm like, man, it's so much better reading it on this kind of paper. I'm like, okay, note to self.
But then on the other hand too, I think like and it like with like older comics and like kind of that rougher newspaper feel, it affects even how like the colors show up,
They
and
do.
how
It
like
does.
the ink soaks into the page and everything like that. Again, stuff that normal humans don't think about. But like I just the other day I picked up an old like a old retro paperback copy of Weapon X by Barry Windsor Smith.
Okay.
I'm a huge X-Men fan. That's my
All
that's
right.
my you're
That's
Thor,
your
I'm X-Men.
all right.
And like getting to see the colors like on those like old pages or whatever was really really cool. And
It
like and
is
I got
cool
I
looking
got to
through
geek
them.
out about it. Yeah.
Especially like the 60s, like the Silver Age stuff. It's
Yeah, dude.
crazy looking at that stuff, and the condition that it can still be in is
Yeah.
amazing. So what's the inspiration like for you or what do you want people to get out of this like when they read your stories, How do you want people to feel about it?
Sure. Well, I mean, I hope they're entertained. I hope they feel like they're reading something different that, they might not be able to find somewhere else. really, this might be like a self-centered way to look at it, but I've always tried to write stories that I would want to read. Like something that
Makes
would
sense.
speak to me if I was like looking at a shop and I like saw it and I think like, oh, this seems cool. So that's really kind of it. But I would try to, have fun. Like, don't want to, the story can be serious without taking itself too seriously, I think.
Right.
And so, try to have fun. Doing picture books at the end of the day, right? And so, yeah, I hope people are entertained, and I hope they read it and put it down and be like, "Oh, it was pretty good." That I would take that for sure.
Heck yeah. I like
Yeah,
that. I do that a lot after I read a comic. I'll be like, oh, that's pretty good. All right. There's
yeah,
the box it goes,
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
to sit there for, I don't know. We'll see what happens to them. What advice would you give inspiring creators?
Um, One, network.
It's a
Just
big one.
go to conventions, go up to an artist, tell them you like their stuff. Post on Reddit and Twitter and Instagram. I hate social media. I hate it so much, but like that's the game. You got to play the game. Yeah. Network number 1. Can I give more than one piece of
Yeah.
advice?
I got all night, buddy.
All right, sweet. Yeah. Network number 1. Number 2, do not, especially if you're gonna go like the crowdfunding route or whatever, do not be too proud to lean on like your circle, lean on your friends and family, your loved ones, people that care about you. If you have people in your life that like want to support you, like that's a gift, like that, and like don't take
100%.
that for granted, and don't let pride get in the way of like, oh, I want it to all be like organic fans. Like, good luck. If that's yeah, yeah, we
I had
all
to teach on that note, and then you can go to number 3 if you want. But my brother came, he lives out in Oklahoma City, and he came and visited me last week. And just for a couple days, we did some traveling, riding around. And I had to teach him how to like my or subscribe on YouTube to my channel. I'm like, why don't you watch my videos? He's like, I don't know. How do I get them? And I'm like, right here.
yeah,
Like on Instagram. He's like, I got this TikTok thing, but I don't know anything about it. And I'm like, here. And I just liked all my stuff.
yeah.
Back to him.
There you go. I mean, yeah, that's beautiful, right? Like that's great. Like, and because if your brother were to like do a project or whatever, like
100%.
you would want to support him.
Yep.
And so, and then like it's the same thing. Like I try to support and encourage the people in my life, especially with like creative stuff. So just, like don't be too proud to like accept love and support from the people in your life is number 2. So number 1, network. Number 2, don't be too proud to accept support from people in your circle. And number 3, learn how to write a comic script if you're gonna write. I see like, and I'm in all like the comic collab subreddits and things like that. And so many people, just like have an idea for a comic and like here's the out, and it's just like, and that's cool and that's great. But if you want to actually turn it into something real, just learn to write a script. It's a very specific art, and it's at some points it's more science than art almost because you got to figure out like page composition and things like that. There are a lot of great books out there that you can read. One that was awesome and transformational for me was Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. It's a great book. It'll teach you just about the medium and everything like that. It's great. Um, and I think that's it.
That's it. So we got 3. All right.
Yeah.
How to create a good reel. We'll make a reel out of that.
Yeah.
You are on Instagram?
Yes.
What's
Yes.
your Instagram?
At Unearthly Comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Well,
I just got the brand account.
perfect. I will follow you. I'll find you and
Okay,
follow
yeah,
you.
sweet.
And I'll
That'll
tag
be,
you in clips and stuff.
it's a big follow fest, right? It's
Right. Gotta
yeah,
follow each other,
exactly. That's great. Yeah, at Unearthly Comics, all one word, all lowercase.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely follow you on there. Um
Sweet man.
I have lots of questions on here, but it's like I don't know which way you want to go with it. But what about marketing and what have you found that's worked the best for you? Maybe it goes into that don't be too afraid to ask your friends,
But
but
yeah,
you've had
I
3
mean,
successful Kickstarters, I've
yeah,
interviewed people that have no successful Kickstarters, I don't have a
yeah,
successful Kickstarter, so
yeah. I mean, like, oh yeah, I'm not too proud to admit this. I think my number of successful Kickstarters would be 0 if it wasn't for family and friends, honestly. So, I mean, that's a huge part of it right there. And as far as like, you know, just breaking out and getting more successful, I'm still trying to crack the code, man.
aren't we all?
It's nice to go to conventions and like talk about like a new book that's coming out, sell your stuff there. Um, but you got to pick the right conventions, I think. Like I've done Dallas Fan Expo for like 3 years, which is, it's a fan expo show and it's like the biggest show in Dallas, but like the most recent year kind of figured out that like, okay, I don't know if that's really the con for me anymore because it's become just more there's a big difference between like a pop culture con and then
And
like
a
a
comic
comic con,
con. Yep,
like really.
100%.
And so like I think for those of us in the indie space, like finding like a small press type of convention. You're in North Carolina. I've always wanted to do Heroes Con.
Yeah, we
Um,
need to look into I'm gonna try to do it next year. We're gonna
yeah,
start the convention scene next year.
nice.
I've already got one on the books for April. We're doing the official release, or what I've set as the goal is the official release of the comic. There's Traverse City, Michigan, Memorial Day weekend. There's a convention that we're gonna go to. There's one in March, C2E2 in Chicago. We might try to do
Oh,
that one.
C2E2 is really cool. I've only been as like as a just a guest.
Guest.
But it was awesome. I love Chicago too, but yeah, C2E2 is really cool.
Yeah, we might try that one. Con in Connecticut. Are you gonna go? Are you gonna be there? August,
When is that? I wasn't planning on it
August of
specifically, but
next year.
okay.
So Mike Algier, my artist, he has a booth there every year. I'm gonna try to get a booth with him or next to him or whatever. But that'll be like the one that we're gonna do together, which is gonna be so cool because that might be the first time I actually meet him in person.
Uh, uh-huh.
And then, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna hit a bunch of conventions this year. We're gonna probably go to
Awesome.
Texas because I have one of my best friends lives in Austin now, so
Okay.
we're gonna
If I
do.
can give a recommendation for a
Sure,
great Texas
100%.
convention, Houston Comic Palooza. It's
Okay,
awesome. It's awesome. I think so. Take it with a grain of salt because I think it is possibly slowly shifting into more of that pop culture con a
right.
little bit. But me and Scott have done it twice, and it's been like our best show. Both
Okay,
times. It's been great for us. So think about it,
all right.
and it's huge too. It's massive.
I've heard a lot of people talk about ones that are in Texas are really good, so that are
Mm-hmm.
more comic related too, not just pop culture.
We just did one in Central Texas. It was this summer. I say just. It was like back in June. Um it was Bell County Comic Con in Central Texas, which is probably like an hour and a half north of Austin. And man, we were in a like a barn, and like it was like we were on our table was set up on top of a tarp that was laid over a dirt floor, man. Like it was
Wow,
so just when you go down to Texas, it's sometimes stereotypes exist for a reason.
you're from there. Come
I
on.
know, dude, I know. Well, let me tell you, you want to know a secret about Texas?
Yep.
The one star on the flag is a review. It's not
Wow.
it's not the Lone
Hot
Star State.
take.
It's not the Lone Star State. It's the One Star State.
I can't wait to tell my friend that I just moved there 3 months ago.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Born and raised.
Right?
Lived 90% of my life there, so I think I know what I'm talking about a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
I've been to Texas like twice. Once just flying through, and then I went to Dallas because I really wanted to. Many years I wanted to go to the George W. Bush Library. Um, you know, so I ended up being able to go there, and
Mhm.
But yeah, now I got to go back and go to Austin and wherever else, conventions are. A lot of people, a lot of comic creators there in Texas.
Yeah, yeah. I always have love for Texas. I'm going to do two cons there early next year, so
Okay.
it's kind of like a little shit talk out of
Which
love.
one? Which ones? Do you know?
So we're doing the actually one in December in Dallas, in the Dallas area. So I think it's technically in Louisville, Texas. It's just the North Texas Cards and Collectible Show, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's
Have you
just a
done one
small.
of those before?
So we've done a toy con, and I don't think we've done this specific con, but Scott just kind of surprised me with it, and it's going to be something to do, I think. And I think it was pretty cheap to do. But then in February, we're going to be doing Texoma Comic Con, which I think is technically in southern Oklahoma, I believe.
The Riverwind Casino?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
No, really?
Oh wait. I went to the University of Oklahoma, and so the Riverwind is in Norman, which is where
Okay, so my brother's gonna love you because he lives in Moore and is a
Oh yeah,
huge OU fan. So
yeah. Okay, bro. Yeah,
I'm glad
represented,
you
man.
didn't say OSU fan.
No.
He'd burn this podcast to the ground.
Yeah, no. Yeah, big OU fan for sure.
I should have worn my OU shirt. I think it's.
Oh no, it's at the Choctaw Event Center in Durant, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay, Choctaw, and it's called what?
Texoma Comic Con. Yeah, so
right.
I'm got my Google Maps here. So it's really south. Like it is like just over the state line.
The state line. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I might have to check. That's in February.
That is
That might be pushing it, but
in February.
I need an.
Yeah,
I don't need an
February
excuse to go to Oklahoma. So
February 21st and 22nd.
all right. Well, hopefully we'll get to cross paths at a convention.
Yeah, man.
I
Yeah.
have some fun questions, but before we get to that, is there anything that we haven't talked about that we need to talk about or you want to talk about? Because the last thing I ever want is somebody to come on here and be like, or and then leave and be like, oh, I wish we would have talked about this.
No, I mean, listen, I'll plug the book as many times as you let me,
Yeah,
but just
sure.
now, I mean, I think we've kind of covered all the bases. Just excited to kind of finish this campaign for the Apostasy strong. It's ends December 1st, so we are, as of this recording, I know it won't go live for a little bit, but as of this recording, we got about a week and a half left. So just excited to finish strong. One thing that was cool though was we passed the goal this time in 5 hours. Which
Wow.
which was really exciting. Yeah, really, really happy
How'd you
about
manage that? I just fluke or
Yeah, kind of got lucky again. Just I was sending out texts to people in my life of like, "Hey, got a new book going, check it out." Yeah, which I'm sure all the friends and family are like tired of getting those texts now. They're like, "Oh my God,
would
stop!"
you stop begging
Yeah,
me
just
for
like
money?
knock it off. Yeah, like exactly.
I bought your first two. Leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Also, though, I did set a smaller goal this
Okay.
time, because I did, shorter book, and everything like that. But, yeah, set a smaller, more attainable goal, which I think was also a factor for sure.
What marketing did you do beforehand? Any? Like, you build a pre-launch page and kind of like market it
Yeah.
up and
Yeah. Built the pre-launch page, and really like about a month out, just posting on it on the brand account, things like that. And then also got connected with Jeff, and he set up some interviews in the the back half of October, because I had the idea I was gonna let the campaign run for the month of November, right? So
okay.
yeah, so started doing some stuff like that.
Perfect. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now the fun questions. Well, first I added one because you mentioned it earlier. What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh man, that's such a hard question.
Really?
And
Okay.
like, yeah. Well, it like changes too. So
Oh,
I would say my favorite horror movie, okay, today, if you were to ask me that right now, I might say like Hereditary, maybe. It's probably
seen that one.
Oh man, it's freaky. It's a feel bad movie. It is the opposite of a feel good movie. It is a bummer of a movie, and it's also terrifying. It's great though. It's so good. Um,
I'm gonna write it down. I'll
yeah.
give it a try. I'm not a
Another
huge like I don't seek out like every horror movie that ever made to watch them, but I do like
okay.
certain few, right? Like if you ask
Well,
me that question, it'd be like probably Silence of the Lambs, like that kind
Silence
of
of the Lambs is
level,
a great movie.
you
That's
know.
it. That's an
All the
awesome movie.
Hannibal Lecter stuff I love.
The yeah. Did you like the show Hannibal?
I haven't seen all the show. I
Dude,
do.
it's so
So
good.
good. I've heard
It's
that.
so good. Yes, I
All right,
actually a
gotta
hot
write it
take.
down.
I think the show is better than the movies, and I think Mads Mikkelsen's portrayal of Hannibal is like the definitive Hannibal Lecter.
Ooh,
And
that's tough.
I know that's a hot take, and
Yeah,
all love to Anthony
Anthony
Hopkins. But
Hopkins.
like, yeah,
Yeah, all right.
the show is excellent. I just it, I, like so my girlfriend, I've gotten her more into horror movies
Mhm.
as like, we've gotten to know each other and everything, and she's like she's seen a lot of stuff now, but I showed her Hereditary, and that was, I think, a little much for her. So I would just word of
Right.
caution, like it's kind of like jumping in the deep end a little bit when it comes
It's
to
like, all right, you want to be a horror fan? All the way over,
like,
all the way
work
in.
your way up to it.
Okay,
That's all. Yeah.
gotcha. That sounds good. All right, who was your first favorite superhero? Now we're back to the common
Yeah.
question.
So I mean, I've always loved the X-Men. So like probably my favorite comic character is Wolverine, and I know that's like cliche to
There's nothing
say,
wrong with
but
that.
yeah, no, but he's awesome, man. He's so cool. One thing that I like, something I heard once is good character design is when you can recognize a character just by their silhouette alone. And so like if you think about iconic characters, you think Darth Vader, or like go the other way, think like SpongeBob SquarePants, like
Right?
really like great, well-designed characters. You can tell them by the silhouette, and that's
Silhouette.
Wolverine. He's got such a Batman, like he's such a distinct just design, and I love how like you know artists like draw him. Like Sam Keith's Wolverine is amazing. Barry Windsor Smith. Recently Josh Cassara like draws him in such a cool way. So yeah, I'm big Wolverine guy.
Awesome. Do you remember the first comic book you ever read?
Totally. It is Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, number 41. So not the original, but it is yeah, and my mom got it for me before a swim meet, and that was my first comic book ever. She wrote like my name in the top corner, and I still have it. It's in my collection. It's in the
That's
long
awesome.
boxes. Yeah, yeah. And it was like it's not like an important issue or anything like that. Like I couldn't
Right.
even, but that was like my first comic, and
That's
so
really cool.
yeah,
Like you like that's really cool because you like know the the volume, the number, like everything. That's pretty cool. And
yeah,
you
man.
still have it, which is even cooler.
Oh yeah,
I probably don't have the first comic I ever read. I'm pretty sure I don't, but that's all right.
and that's okay.
What is your favorite current series?
Man, current series reading right now, Denise Camp's Ultimates is
Okay.
so good. It's like it's better. It like every issue that I read it, I'm like, how is it this good? Like it is blowing my mind. And that is a writer, Denise Camp. Like he's done some big stuff. He's doing Absolute Martian Manhunter right now, which I haven't read yet, but I'm excited to. I actually just picked up the first trade paperback of that this morning. Came out today, so I'm excited to dig into that.
Awesome.
But that's a name to watch. Seriously, he's doing an anthology series at Image called Assorted Crisis Events. He did a X-Men miniseries a couple of years ago called Children of the Vault. But like the dude is gonna be a superstar. Like mark my words, he's awesome. So and his ultimates is if you're are you reading any of like the current
Not the
ultimates on
Ultimates. I
now?
have not picked up any yet.
Give it a shot. Check,
Okay.
crack open just the first trade paperback, and you will like be floored at how good it is. It's like it's crazy.
All right. I will check that out. I think I bought one Ultimate issue, but it had like Thor on it or something, or somebody had a character on it that I wanted. I liked the
Yeah,
cover, so I bought it.
yeah,
Yeah, we buy, 20, 30 a month of well, probably more than that, but we buy a bunch of comics and I'm never going to catch up on reading, but that's okay.
yeah. Hey, the two read stack only ever grows. It never diminishes.
Right, exactly. I've noticed
Yeah.
that. I have a box here and I'm probably going to have to add a second box. Oh, it's bad. All right, so if you could live in any comic book universe, which one would you choose? Probably
God.
not the Apocalypse.
No, no, not the apostasy because that's hell, right? So
Right. You're not going to live there.
you know, and also just to be clear about hell in our book, not a fun place to be, not necessarily not somewhere you want to end up. We'll just say that. So yeah, that would be bad. Um and well, also like, you know, living in New York, right? Like like the Marvel universe would be terrible. Like, you know, you got every 3 months like, oh, what's new this month? Oh, this month vampires took over the city and killed like a million people. But, you know, that's you know, that's Tuesday, right? So no, definitely
Right.
not. Probably like I don't know. What's just like a series like oh, okay, you know what? You ever read Chip Zdarsky does a really fun series at Image Comics called Public Domain. Have you heard of that
I
or
have
checked that
not.
out?
I've heard it. I haven't read it.
It is hilarious. And I think like any comic creator should read it because it's all
Okay.
about it's just like it's super like in the niche and everything like that, but it's just set in the real world. It's just, you know, it's just set in like a normal Earth. And so I think that I think I'd like to live there because too many of the others would be too scary.
Yeah, one of the best answers I ever got from that, somebody looked at me and was like Garfield or Peanuts.
Yeah.
Just give me, that universe. Nothing's going to happen
You know
there.
what? Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah,
You know, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Somewhere nice.
All right, what superpower do you want if you could have one?
Sure, like super speed, like the Flash, probably. I think that would be really cool. Um, yeah, I used to say like telekinesis. It would just be like cool to like do that kind of shit. But I think, you know, getting to run on water and like just be super fast and everything, I think that would be pretty sick.
That'd be pretty sick. All right, if you could pick any comic book character to be your personal sidekick, who would you choose?
Oh, like okay, yeah, I would choose who would be the chillest hang. And that would probably be like Nightcrawler, I think. Like he's just like a super nice guy. Like he looks crazy as hell, but he's just like the best guy. Like and you just
Right?
see him, you want him to be your best friend. And like so yeah, I would say Nightcrawler.
And you can just teleport anywhere.
And you
Like
can just
anywhere
teleport
where you want to
anywhere.
go.
Yeah,
That
totally.
I'd almost want him that superpower. Just
Yeah.
all right, I'm going New York City today.
Bam.
Bam,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
All right, if your life were a comic book, what would the title be?
Man. Uh I've been so I've been playing around with because in 2022, after I left Dallas, I actually spent a year just on the road working out of my car. My job is remote, so I work from home. So
Right?
in that year, I just kind of I would like take meetings on the back of my car and like, you know, I slept in over 30 states that year. And it was a crazy time. And a lot of just wild stuff happened and I was writing during the time, but I always played with the idea of like doing like just a memoir of like my life during that
Mhm.
time. And I wanted to call it Blissed Out. And because that's kind of what it was like, you know. Don't some parts of it a little fuzzy for sure.
Right?
And then some parts of it were memorable in the right ways, some parts of it were memorable in the wrong
The wrong
ways, but
way.
it was a very interesting time, but I would call it Blissed Out.
I've done a lot of traveling and I love that idea. And that's probably going to be when I retire. That might be what I do. Just do that. I have kids and stuff now, so I can't. It's hard to do that with school. But we do it in small chunks. Like we spent 29 days on the road this summer. Went to 17
That's awesome.
states. You know, so
That's cool. That's really
yeah,
cool.
I've done. You know, when I was in high school, I was able to do. I was very fortunate to do a trip with a friend of mine. We did 59. Sorry, we did 34 states in 59 days. Oh, yeah, that was a whirlwind, but it was
That's
so much.
crazy.
I got to see so much of the country, and there's so much. You know, people that live in a certain spot, you know, it might be a beautiful spot, but there's so much beauty across this whole country,
There's so much out
right?
there. Yeah.
You know, you can have New York City, or you can have just the prairie fields in South Dakota, right? Like, just
Totally.
amazing. I love. What was your favorite spot?
So I took like it was almost 3 weeks, and I went up the whole Pacific Coast.
Okay.
And I did like the Pacific Coast Highway, like from bottom
Yeah.
to all the way. And that was really cool. I think like Big Sur, like in California, just along the coast, is probably the most beautiful part of the country, I would have to say. Plus, I like California. It was really nice out there, so that's great. I also during that time I spent 3 weeks here in New York too, and you know liked it so much that
You
I
moved
moved
there.
here. Yeah, right. So probably one of those for sure. Also, you know, spent some time in Chicago. Love Chicago.
Mhm.
You know, well, I can tell you where the worst place that I
Yeah.
ended up was easily Roswell, New Mexico. That place fucking sucks. It's the worst. It is the worst. It like don't go. Do not go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to Roswell on that trip when I
I'm
was, you know, in high
sorry that you
school.
went to Roswell.
I
I'm
did not
sorry
have
that
that
happened to you.
experience, that level of hatred for it. I mean, I was okay. What I said about it, maybe it's I was younger then. Um, thank God. I said, thank God Carlsbad Caverns is only like an hour away. Is what
Carlsbad
I
Cavern's
said,
super cool. Super
right?
cool. Yeah. Yeah. Go check out
Because
the
Roswell by
stalagmite.
itself, it was cool. Like the museum was neat. Like, but that was it.
Was the museum neat? Are you sure? It is a place with nothing. And look, I love New Mexico. I think
Right?
like I spent a lot of time actually that year 2022 I spent like almost a month in Ruidoso, New Mexico. Which is stunningly beautiful and like, you know, charming little mountain town, right? But like just so gorgeous. I love New Mexico, like the people there.
Santa
It's
Fe was
great.
gorgeous.
Santa Fe, beautiful.
The you know the architecture out there
Yeah.
is amazing. White Sands was probably one of my favorite places I ever went to.
White Sands,
Best
super
night
cool.
sky I've ever seen in my life.
Agreed. No, there is so much good stuff about the state of New Mexico. Roswell is
Not
not one of
Roswell.
them at all. That place is the worst because it doesn't have the natural beauty, right?
Nope.
Like and
There's
what
nothing there. Just
like
flat.
there's nothing there. And then and like also I don't know, like when's the last time you've been there?
I mean,
Like
this was in 1998, so
okay. Okay. And like
28 years ago. So
yeah, I think the last time I was there was I mean, yeah, it was probably this 2022. Like half the downtown is now like closed. And
oh,
like so
that
it
could be
like it
bad.
feels
Yeah.
super desolate and like just bad. And then like also like the state of New Mexico has like legalized recreational weed, which is cool for me. I like, but not in Roswell. They have a city ordinance against it. And so it's you can
That's
get it.
dumb.
It's so dumb.
Everywhere
Exactly.
around.
Because it's Roswell, it's
Right.
dumb, and then their whole thing
Yeah.
is like, oh, like they've got all the alien bullshit, and like it's just no. Roswell sucks. Go around it. Go to Ruidoso. Go to Santa Fe. Go to White Sands. Do all that. Don't go to Roswell, man.
Carlsbad Caverns. That was good.
Carlsbad Caverns. Check it out. Yeah. Las Cruces is huge if you want to see like a mid-sized city. But like, yeah, don't go to Roswell.
Don't go to Roswell. That's great. Oh my goodness. I loved Tombstone, Arizona. That was cool to me. Did you
Yeah.
make it there?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Arches, Utah was probably my favorite national park.
Okay. Okay.
That was beautiful. Uh I was able to finally take my kid to Mount Rushmore. And we went to Deadwood. We spent a week in Deadwood because I'm a nerd.
That's
Um,
cool that you did that time in Deadwood. I also, in 2022, went to Mount Rushmore for the first time. I was pretty underwhelmed, honestly. I like you kind of show up and then like you're just standing there looking at it and like, you look at it for a couple minutes and you're like, okay,
all right,
well,
time to go.
time to leave. Yeah.
Now what we did this year is we went like an hour before dark and we hung out and they do the night show where they light it up. They do this whole presentation in the theater and then they light it up. That was pretty cool. So you can
Okay.
kill a couple hours doing it that way.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's only $10. Like, this might be a hot take, but I was not a fan of Crazy Horse, which is around the corner, around the mountain. You go to Crazy Horse, $35 to get in, and it ain't even done.
Wow.
And then you
Okay.
go 20 minutes around the corner, around the mountain, and you got Mount Rushmore for $10. Like, I'll go to Mount Rushmore every time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Deadwood is amazing. I love the TV
Okay.
show, and so I'd always wanted to go back, go there to that town, and so we did, and we spent. I think my daughter and we did everything you could do in that town except one thing, and we did it's like 4 days. And the only thing we couldn't do was the brothel museum because they wouldn't let her in. Understandably, she's 10. I get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I
That
understand,
makes
but we did
that makes
everything else in that town you could do. It was amazing. We had so
That
much
makes
fun.
sense. Good
Yeah.
not to allow children in your brothel
Yeah,
museum.
it's good to,
Okay.
then I got to
Yeah.
finally make it to Alaska this year too. So
Cool.
I'm at
I have not been to Alaska. My brother-in-law is from there, but I would really like to go.
So 40, I'm at 45 states. So I have to finish. I'm hoping to finish the next year or two.
Nice. That's
So,
awesome. I think I'm pretty sure I'm over 40, but
okay.
I don't think I'm at 45.
Awesome. Well, awesome, man. This has been great. Tell people where to find your books. All of them.
Yeah, so there are several states because okay, that year that I drove around and was mobile and everything, I was selling
Yeah.
books out of the back of my car as well, and so
There you
ended
go.
up getting able to put the book in stores in 15 states.
That's phenomenal.
This was when I was promoting Gator Man Kills. So if you want to ask about marketing, just put a bunch of books in the back of your car and then drive around the country and go into stores and ask them if they have shelf space for independent comics. Some will tell you to get the hell out, some will laugh at you, but some will say yes. And
No, nobody told you to get the hell out. Did they?
One was so there were a couple stores that were like they didn't tell me to get the hell out, but they were maybe a little on the ruder side. One guy, the funniest thing that happened to me store wise was it was a store in Las Vegas. Ton of comic book stores in Las Vegas, by the way, randomly.
Okay.
But it was in Las Vegas, and the owner was like this super old guy, and he started by saying he wasn't going to take any copies of the book, but then he had like the copy that I offered to him when I walked in. I was like, you can take a look at it. And then he, without giving it back to me, he walked around the store and he was pointing at all the books that he thought had better covers than our cover. So he was like, I'll show you what a good cover looks like. Come here. And he was walking around. He's like, see this next to this? Like, come on. And for like a while. And I just kind of wanted the book back if he wasn't
And
gonna,
get out, right?
take it. So I had to like just follow this dude around. And he's an old guy too, so I didn't want to be like a dick or anything. But and he just showed me how many books had better covers than mine.
Wow.
Which was pretty funny. Some people that were kind of dismissive, but most people were like really, really cool. Even if like they didn't take a book, they were still like, cool, cool people. So that was like that was few and far between. It did happen where when I would encounter like a curmudgeon, but it was definitely the minority.
Right. And I did notice in your Kickstarter you offered a retailer package, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Coming from, when I used to own my store, in the hobby world, like the card games world, it was always nice when the Kickstarters would offer that, because you'd always get people that come in the store and be like, "That game was on Kickstarter. Do you have it?" And I'm like, "No, it was on Kickstarter." You know,
Right.
they don't
They don't
sell to
understand
me.
that. Yeah,
You
right.
know,
Yeah,
I'm not paying full price for a game to sell you for full price. And
exactly.
but then they started finally doing that, and I was very appreciative when people did that. So
Yeah, yeah, the retailer bundle, 5 copies of the book for less than half cover price, which I think is, yeah, not a bad deal.
not at all.
But yeah, perfect for retailers if any are listening. But yeah, learned a lot for sure. But it was a great experience. Yeah. So, anyway, you asked where to find the book. Sorry, I went down a
No,
rabbit hole there.
that was a great rabbit
Um,
hole. I love
yeah.
rabbit holes.
Yeah. So several stores go. Ask your local store if they've got any graphic novels by Unearthly Comics. But we also we put all our comics online on globalcomics.com, which is a really
Okay.
great site. Full of awesome creators there, including our comics as well. And then also, if you want to buy a physical copy of our books online, you can check it out at the Unearthly Comics website, which is, shocker, www.unearthlycomics.com, and we've got our online store there, and so you can check it out. We'll ship it to you anywhere in the US. We don't care. Just yeah, check it out.
Buy the book and go
Yeah,
to the Kickstarter and back it.
and
And there'll be
check
links
out
below
yes, check
or
out the
wherever.
Apostasy on Kickstarter. A fun little thing I can share is that since we did pass our goal so quickly, and we made some money on top of that too. So in addition to any tier that anybody buys into, we're going to be printing off 11 by 17 poster versions of our cover, and that's going to go to every backer regardless of tier. So that's just a
Awesome.
little, yeah, just for no additional charge, just a little extra way for us to say thanks.
That's awesome,
So
dude.
keep that in mind if you want a poster too.
Yeah, I got, a bunch. We're gonna rearrange probably over Christmas break. We're gonna rearrange this whole thing and get my posters. We got a bunch of prints now, so we got to hang those up. So
Is that Batman poster behind you? Is that the Three Jokers promo art? It kind of looks like it.
it was from Hobby Lobby for
Okay.
1999. I don't
There we
know.
go. There
Um,
we go.
I got actually that from there, which I thought was cool because it was like Batman, half Batman, Joker.
Yeah.
There's a Batman diorama kind of thing right there. All that came from, well, those four things, 3, 4, 5, they all came from Hobby Lobby. We actually went to Hobby Lobby yesterday and didn't find anything new. Was kind of disappointed, but we're gonna probably take some of that down, and I want to put the prints of, like, because now that we're getting people, like, we have our own comic, we're getting people's prints, like, of people we've interviewed and stuff. So it's like it's gonna turn into more just an indie background versus a Marvel or DC background. So
Sweet. Sweet.
hopefully, so I don't know. On the other side of the room, where my daughter sits, because we do a weekly show together, right? And sometimes she joins these conversations, and those are fun. But her and I do one, just her and I, every week, go over our polls and play stupid, silly little games, but we have so much fun. And they're short, 25, 30 minutes usually. But she's a huge Harley Quinn fan, so her whole background's Harley Quinn stuff. So I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of that.
If she's a Harley Quinn fan, she's probably already read it. But if you've checked out any of like the DC has been doing like their compact comics line, which is kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, I love those. I literally I have them all. I think they're like super fun and like just the best idea. But they
For like
did
$10.
for $10, you can get
Yeah.
Watchmen for $10. Like, come on,
Yeah.
what are we
I've bought
doing?
her a couple of them. Some she already had, like she's already had
Yeah,
all the books. So it's like, I'm not buying that again.
sure.
And then, but once she has found some that she's like, well, I don't have this one. I'm like, okay, get it.
But
She's
they
spoiled.
just not long ago they did a compact comics collection of Amanda Connor's run on Harley Quinn.
Okay.
It was called, I think, like the edition they put out was called Harley Quinn Wild at Heart. And I had never really dug into too many Harley Quinn comics, honestly, but I read that and it was super fun.
Okay.
It was really really good, and I would think, maybe not quite an all ages book, but I think a definite PG-13. I would say.
Yeah. She's a little, it is what it is. I take the Gary V approach to parenting. So, like, just let her
What
read
what
it.
is that?
Well,
Okay.
just like say the F word in front of, like, I don't say it too much on here, but
Sure.
like I don't hold back from cussing in front of my kid or anything. There's so much more crap to worry about and that can go wrong with your kids than me saying the F word, or her reading Harley Quinn at 10 years old.
Well, there we go. Yeah.
I have a 24-year-old daughter too, and you could ask her. There's a lot more crap that could have gone on, than worrying about how if me saying something or her reading something a little too early. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Well,
it's
cool.
not worth it. So she's, yeah, should she have read Harley at 10? I don't know, but her reading level has gone from she hated reading to she's read 300 comic books this year.
That's awesome.
And
That's
her
awesome.
grade has improved in reading because she's reading, so
That's
I'm
great,
not
man.
going to hold her back. If she wants to read Harley Quinn, she can read Harley Quinn.
Right on. Well, cool.
And if she has questions, we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, I'm a parent, so it is what it is.
Then, hey, well, I'm not, but it sounds like she might like that Harley Quinn book. So yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I will check it out. If she'll find it.
Yeah, it was really fun. I came away from it, like, went into it with like kind of minimal expectations, and I came away from it. I was like, that was really good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it. Us, me, whatever, being here. Hopefully, some of you see it and back your projects. And it was awesome to meet you. And hopefully, we can connect in the future. Meet at conventions or whatever. If you ever launch number 4, Kickstarter number 4, I'd love to have you back. I'm sure if you go through Jeff, he'll hopefully give you to send you my way again. But yeah, I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no, AJ, no, this is great, man. You're super cool to talk to. I had fun. So yeah, thanks very much for having me.
Thank you.
In a world of heroes, villains, and epic stories,
Braha, Omicron, and their ultimate sidekick, Penelope, take you on adventures each week.
showing off their comic book hauls,
Fun trivia and games, honest reviews.
and inspiring conversations with creators and consumers who make it all possible.
Join in on the conversation.
This is Talking Comics.
Trying to start a podcast but feeling stuck? At Aquatium, we help creators make waves with everything you need to bring your voice to life. Hosting, recording, editing, and marketing. Whether you're starting from scratch or just need a little help polishing your sound, we're here to hide your